Hi, my name is Deb. Today is July 20th, 2021, and I'm doing a reading for T. Rae, who was born on October 3rd, 1983 at 1 p.m. in Oakland, California. So to start this reading, what I like to do is start at your point of origin, your rising sign or ascending sign, and we will work our way counterclockwise around your chart. This chart is representative of your life's journey. So the sign traits will show us how we go on this journey. And the houses are which part of your life these things will play out in. The points or planets are additional focus of that expression. So if we start with your rising sign, which happens to be Sagittarius, the first house is the house that defines you. It's the house of self. Sagittarian risings, they tend to be adventurous and a little authoritative. But you also have, interestingly enough, one of the generational planets, Neptune. By generational, I mean they take 7 or more years to move through signs. So people around your same age are going to have this similar placement, but probably in a different house. Those 3 signs are Neptune, Uranus, and Pluto. Now, you happen to have the dreamy Neptune into your first house. So that is going to add healing power. That means that you have a strong will and authority in your imagination and your ideas. Now, if we move into the second house, and you'll see the second house is ruled by Capricorn. Whichever sign is on the cusp of your house is that house's ruler. And that means at the beginning going counterclockwise. So when we get to your second house, that is Capricorn. Capricorn's very disciplined. And with it ruling your second house of luxury, which is natively ruled by Taurus, they're both earth signs. So this is going to give you an amazing eye for valuable things. And that's however you define that. Whether it's people, objects, whatever value is defined by you, you'll have a very keen eye for this. When we move over to the third house, this is ruled by the dreamy Pisces. Pisces rules your third house of communication, meaning you rely heavily on the unseen. You might get messages from the other realms. You might just know things somehow, and you rely very heavily on that because it's about your imagination and intuition. When we move to your fourth house is ruled by Aries. And Aries is the first house of the zodiac. It's the impatient house, the fiery, get it sign, if you will. And so with its urgent and competitive energy ruling your fourth house of family and home, it's going to make you very passionate about your home life. You will be fiercely protective of it and very driven. You will want your home life to be an example to others. When we move to the fifth house, that's secure and very solid Taurus. That rules your fifth house, and the fifth house is a creativity. This means that you are going to have staying power in your creativity, long-term creative. You just got it. It just keeps going, just nice and steady. And then when we move over to the first house that has any placements in it, and the ruler of this house is Gemini. And Gemini is a chatterbox, as we know. And in your case, Gemini actually rules both your sixth house of health and your seventh house of relationships. The sixth house is natively ruled by Virgo, and it shows your vitality. With you having Gemini, that's going to affect whatever parts of the body Gemini rules. And those happen to be arms, brain, lungs, shoulders, hands, your nervous and respiratory systems. So if you have any issues with those, check that out. You probably will be communicating about them because and fighting for maybe understanding of whatever these ailments might be. Now you do have 2 points, and the first point that I want to talk about is this little key shape right here. And this is an asteroid known as Chiron, or your wounded warrior. But it also reveals to us your superpower. And having a Gemini It indicates that you had some sort of stunted speech about your health, basically, because it's in this house. That means that you are an amazing healer. Like, you know how to find the right way for somebody to feel better. But you need to work on making sure that you're healing yourself and that you're putting a lot of that amazing healing energy into healing the things that you need to work through, including that feeling of not being able to express outwardly your communication on different health issues. Your North Node is also in the house of health and routine. And so that means that your destiny, your North Node is your destiny. So your destiny is going to want communication about health. And your roots, which is opposite of your North Node, so your South Node, would be over in 12th house Sagittarius. That's your root. So that means that you're very intuitive about different experiences in your life. You know, like settling down is not your favorite thing to do because you want to continue to explore. Unless they have the same ideals as you, it's going to be very important. As we move into the 8th house, Cancer, the nurturer, is ruling this house. And this house is the house of taboo, death, taxes, sex, and its native ruler is Scorpio. So if that helps you kind of get the energy of it. And this is going to mean that in your lifetime, and especially in your afterlife, after you're gone from this realm, you want to be remembered fondly and you want to have a lasting impression. In your 8th house, Leo is in there, but it doesn't rule any houses. The house ruler is always on that cusp, remember? So again, Cancer rules the 8th house, and your 8th house has Cancer, Leo, and Virgo all represented within it. And since you have that, you're going to have little bits of traits from the 8th house. So we need to look at which points are in which sign. And within your 8th house, you do have 3 points. And interestingly enough, it's not Cancer. Your Venus or bottom energy is in Leo. And this is going to make you persistent, a smart investor. My nickname for this particular bottom energy placement is Forever Flame. Because you like to show off your partner. You want that fairy tale romance. You like giving life or getting life. And that's love to you. You love grand, big gestures. We move over to Virgo. You have Mars in Virgo, and it's still in the 8th house. And so you're going to be amazing at winning battles. You're like a human lie detector, and you are a fierce competitor. Now, my nickname for this top energy placement is Slave, and that's because you don't like to give up control, but if you find somebody that you are down for that and you just want to surrender to it because you're a boss in everything else. This position also, or this placement also tends to be voyeuristic, a little bit kinky. And to vent some of that anger out, you might tend to pick fights. So watch out for that. Also in Virgo is one of your big 3, the moon, or your emotions. Now, having it in this 8th house in Virgo means that you are going to want to maintain strong emotional connections. So you'd be an amazingly nurturing leader. So you might struggle with that feeling of wanting to be perfect, especially in intimacy. And you'll love to be of service because Virgos love to be of service. And you need to feel useful to have emotional contentment. So also, Virgo rules your 9th house of adventure and higher learning. And you have Mercury here in the 9th house. So that means you're going to have deep and strong thoughts and be able to be a master communicator with them. As we hit the cusp of your 10th house, we find that always balanced Libra is the ruler of your 10th house, and therefore is also your midheaven. The midheaven represents your accomplishments and responsibility. And a Libra MC has amazing potential to find harmony, balance, and justice using your roots of independence and quick thought. In this case, because MC and Sun are both in Libra. And because they're within less than 10 degrees of each other, that represents the aspect of conjunction. They work well together. They give each other extra power. So this will give you more drive to get ahead of your goals. And because generational planet of Pluto is also in your 10th house, it's going to mean that you are going to seek balanced transformation, because Pluto is representation of transformation, and you are going to want to be very balanced because of the Libra. Still in the 10th house, but with the secret of Scorpio, there's the planet of discipline, Saturn. This is going to bring passion to your work and discipline. Scorpio also rules your 11th house of teamwork, which means you are only going to choose other teammates, that are just as impassioned as you are and as intelligent as you are. When we move to the 12th and final house of your chart, this is also ruled by Sagittarius. By having Sagittarius ruling both your 12th and first house, you are going to be extremely philosophical, especially about your experiences. Having Uranus, which is one of those generational planets, in the 12th house indicates that you might be hiding something. The fact that Sagittarius means that it's probably something to do with an adventure of some sort, an experience of some sort, or maybe your higher education, travel. But it's probably something that's not very typical, and that's why you're hiding it. You also have Jupiter, the planet of expansion, and its native sign ruler is Sagittarius. So in the 12th house, that means that you have expanded spiritual guidance in your understanding. So that's your chart as a whole. Now, we talked specifically about understanding the difference between aspects. Now, aspects are about the relationships between different points on your chart and how they see each other. Meaning, like, certain angles will block them from seeing each other. Or if they're close to each other, they can work really well together because they can see each other. When we look at the different parts of your chart and the different aspects, there was something very interesting in your chart. You have 2 T-squares. Now, T-squares are 2 planets that are in opposition to each other or directly across from each other, 180 degrees. And then there's another planet that's square to both of them. Looking at those 2 180 degree planets, you figure out what those obstacles might be, because those are the ones that are battling against each other. But when you look at that top, that apex planet, that's where your outlet is going to be. So you can really use that energy to your advantage, where it creates a bit of friction between the 2 opposition planets and then an amazing outlet. As an example, in this T-square, you'll see that the combating planets are your Uranus and Jupiter with your Chiron, which basically suggests your wounds are keeping you in that hiding pattern. That's why it feels like you're hiding something. They're fighting against each other. But the interesting part about it is that up there at the apex, you have your emotions and your passion, and that's going to be your outlet to fixing that and to bringing everything back together. This T-square suggests that your public face is in battle with your destiny. But how you will work this out is up there at the apex is your communication. So cool. Some aspects that I'd like to go over with you so you can look deeper into them. For example, your sun is sextile with Jupiter, which is going to bring you good luck. Your sun in conjunction with your midheaven, which means achievement of your identity is going to be very easy for you. Sun being trine with Chiron is going to make you have complete understanding and acceptance of all of your flaws, including those because you understand that makes you who you are. Moon in conjunction with both Venus and Mars is going to make you gentle, kind, you love, and you're going to be really passionate, possibly a little bit quick to anger. With the moon being square to Jupiter, you don't like drama. There's no drama needed here. And with the moon sextile to Saturn, more dutiful, more goal oriented. And with the moon square to Chiron, that signifies some parent abandonment. And as I said, with your Chiron, there's probably something that has to do with speech. And now your superpower and how you feel is mind over matter. Your ascendant is square with your Mercury, which gives you a little bit more a gift of the gab, if you will. And your ascendant is trine with your Venus, which is going to make you very diplomatic in your love. So that's going to complete this reading. Please let me know if you have any additional questions or something that I need to clarify for you. I really thank you for asking me to do this reading, and I hope that you are well. Cheers.